we are. It's the 1602nd day, just a tad over 1600 days on the day with our Daily Antidote family. Welcome to all my Daily Antidote cousins. We're very happy to have Rick Palieri here, who sings all kinds of songs steeped in the oral tradition, but a great songwriter also, and more on that later. But let's just say hello to everybody. Hello, Rick. Hello, Rick from Heinsberg, Vermont.
Hey,
Hello to Joe from Tacoma Park. Never know where Joe's coming in from, our fearless leader. Hello, Bryn. Thank you for handing the tech and helping keep this big ship moving forward. Hello to Pauline from Newcastle in England, Arlene in Berkeley, California, Susan in Cincinnati. Hello, Deborah in Kentucky, Sheila in Florida, Kathleen in Albuquerque, Sue in Seattle. Isn't it amazing we can all get together from such distant places? There's Linda from Concord and Jamie from Victoria, British Columbia, that is, and Athena from Brooklyn. And hello to Dory and Ollie from Rhode Island, Trish from Victoria, hello Deli from Maryland, and Caroline from DC. Hello Storm from Massachusetts, and Annette from California. Kathy from Colorado, hello Mariana, Rick's wife from Vermont, and Anne from Silver Springs, Fred from Silver Springs, a couple of Silver Springs in a row, Hoda from British Columbia, and where am there? And we got Nancy from Denver. We have LMG from Connecticut, Elizabeth from California. Hello, Bob from Massachusetts, and Cricket from Maryland. And hello to everybody on YouTube. We're so happy to have you here, and we're really excited to have Rick, who's a regular Daily Antidote singer. So, Rick, I can't wait to hear what you have for us today.
well, first of all, hi, neighbor.
Hi, neighbor. We're down in opposite corners of the state of
I
Vermont, but it's such a
know.
small state. It feels like we're pretty much neighbors.
Well, it was like, Peter, you do this all the time, so you know that it's always a challenge. Because you're always trying to think of what song is going to be right for this particular show. And you don't want to necessarily do a song that you just did, so you really are thinking about it all the time. And I was really in a quandary about what I was going to play. First I was thinking of all the joy that I felt while I was watching, the Democratic, nomination process, and when I saw that clip, they kept focusing on Tim Wall's son, and how excited he was, and
How
I
excited
felt.
Gus was? And
Yes,
Gus,
Gus
for
was
his
so
son, yeah.
excited. I mean, I was excited too,
Yeah,
and he was like, "That's my dad." And I was thinking
yeah,
about that idea, like for a lot of us who didn't have that kind of a role model, didn't have that, you
right.
know, it was like, yeah, I wish that was my dad. And I
Yeah.
felt like that was an important part of this whole thing. And this idea of being emotional, Peter, you know how hard it is sometimes in my family being, even though my dad was a really tough guy, he, was very emotional in some ways. And my brother and myself, I'm very emotional, especially when, there's something that's beautiful. That's when I get emotional, you know, something that touches my heart. And so when I saw Gus breaking down and crying, I felt the joy. That's what I felt.
Yeah, yeah, that was fantastic. I just have to say that I had who doesn't have a complicated relationship with their dad? And my dad and I were very different politically on different ends of the spectrum. My dad, however, uh, he loved to laugh, and he was not ashamed of crying. He
Hmm.
was, and it was really I'm very blessed to have that model, and that more men could be like that. And I feel like I'm definitely strong on the laugh side of it. I love to
Yeah,
laugh.
it's,
But
I
it's a good
think.
model. But you're right in terms of what just happened there. It was just a really that was just one of the great moments of the whole convention in terms of how intimate
Yes.
personal it was,
Yeah. And
and how much it was just this. It was this is right now what we're looking at is this father and his son, and that's what's happening. And what could be more
yeah.
powerful than that?
Now, I picked the song that was, because, it was revealed later on. I mean, it was a terrible thing because some people took the opportunity to make a lot of fun out of him, out of
Yeah,
Gus,
in a negative way.
in a
Yeah,
very, very negative way.
yeah.
And I started thinking about that. And my dear friend, who's not with us anymore, but Larry Penn, was
Mm-hmm.
part of the Rose Tattoo with Utah Phillips,
Ah,
another tough guy,
yeah.
but Larry had a really soft side to him, too. And he had a son that had some mental problems, and so he wrote this particular song for that, and he didn't really want to talk about it too much. I mean, Larry was very personal, but
Yeah.
but he was but this was a very important song to him, and I know that some of you people know this song, and we're going to go through it so that we get that feeling to it. And this is a song that Larry Penn wrote called "I'm a Little Cookie," and it's about being different. That's all it is. Whether you're emotionally different or in whatever way that you are, you're just a little bit different than everyone else. But it doesn't mean that you're any less than anyone else. And that's what this song is really about. And he's going starting in G, but he goes to D7th for those keeping score. I'm a little cookie, yes I am. I was made by the cookie man. On my way to the cookie pan, a little piece broke off of me. Well, a little piece broke off of me. Well, a little piece broke off of me. But I can taste just as good as any other old cookie can. So that's going to be, you'll feel that coming around over and over again. So let's try that together. Ready? I'm a little cookie, yes I am. I was made by the cookie man. On my way to the cookie pan, a little piece broke off of me. Well, a little piece broke off of me. A little piece broke off of me. But I can taste just as good as any other old cookie can. Yeah. Well, I'm a little chocolate bar. Yes, I am. I was made by the chocolate man. On my way to the chocolate stand, I got a little bend in me. Well, I got a little bend in me. I got a little bend in me. But I can taste just as good as any other chocolate bar can. Well, I'm a little Tootsie Roll. Yes, I am. I was made by the Tootsie Roll man. On my way to Tootsie Roll land, I got a little twist in me. Well, I got a little twist in me, I got a little twist in me, but I can taste just as good as any other old twister, Tootsie Roll can. Well, I'm a little gumdrop, yes I am. I was made by the gumdrop man. On the way to the gumdrop stand, I got a little dent in me. Well, I got a little dent in me, I got a little dent in me, but I can taste just as good as any other gumdrop can. Let's try that chorus. Well, I'm a little cookie, yes I am. I was made by the cookie man, and when I fell off the cookie pan, I got a little dent in me. Oh, well, I got a little dent in me, oh Lord. I got a little dent in me, oh Lord, but I can taste just as good as any other old cookie can. Now this last one is a little bit different. Well, I'm a little cookie, yes I am. I was made by the cookie man. On the way from the cookie pan, a little piece broke off of me. But I'm not as round as I could be. But I'll taste good, just wait and see. And I can love back just as hard as any other old cookie can. Well, I can love back twice as hard as any other old cookie can.
Thank you. It's perfect song for today. Thank you so much, Rick. Tell me again, what is the name of the fellow who wrote that song?
Larry Penn.
And
Larry
could you
Penn.
talk just a bit more about Larry Penn? Because I'm just
Yeah.
dying to
Now,
know, because it's such a
Larry,
great song.
he was a truck driver
Yeah,
and a songwriter. Wrote great songs, and he was part of the Rose Tattoo
yeah,
with Utah, and that's where I met him. And like I said, he was a kind of gruff guy at first.
yeah.
I mean, one of the things about Utah Phillips is like he invites me into the Rose Tattoo, but doesn't tell anybody else from the Rose Tattoo. So all of a sudden, like, who's this guy?
Wow.
And you
Yeah,
had to earn your stripes.
yeah.
You had to work. You had to put together tours and stuff. And once you did that and you showed that you were a worker along with everyone else, then you were accepted. And it was I was talking to Larry one time, and he we were talking about, like, he was talking about the holidays and how he loved olives. He really loved olives, and he said that, what happened is a lot of times people would, take all the olives out of the tray, and he would get upset because he really liked olives. So I sent him a can of olives for Christmas.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
And he loved that. But he wrote so many good songs, and he was here in Vermont when the Rose Tattoo, we played at Champlain Valley Folk Festival,
Yeah.
and he was also here, and we did a concert thing with Charlie Hunter on the Green Mountain Flyer
Mm-hmm.
years ago. And so it was really great. So Larry spent a bit of time here in Vermont. And like I said, he's written a lot of songs, but this particular song was different than anything that he wrote
That's
because
beautiful.
it
Yeah.
was that sensitive part of him.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well, yeah, I can think of some friends of mine who are very sensitive and kind of and they're in sort of it's a Vermont thing in a way. And they just are and they're really quiet and but very sensitive, and they kind of they're just kind of listeners, I feel
hmm
like, but then come out with like incredible wisdom
yeah,
and thoughtfulness and compassion and empathy in a much quieter way than I do, for example. And I know. And I was just thinking, it just made me think of the word obnoxious. I think I sometimes describe myself as someone who kind of tends toward obnoxious, which is
oh, I
just that I kind of let it all out, and I'm not saying that's always good or not. I'm
I
just
don't
saying
think of
it's
you that way at all.
well, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. I'm going to put that on my website. Rick Palieri
Well, I
says
think of you
Peter Amidon is not obnoxious. That's great.
as a teacher,
Yeah,
as a person of wisdom,
yeah.
and I think of you as always working with people and teaching them things and giving us lessons. That's how I see you, and I think that a lot of people see you in that light. I think we all see ourselves in different ways that maybe the public doesn't quite, see us in the same way.
Yeah,
But
right.
you know that when you do good work,
Yeah.
that you're appreciated and you do good work.
Well, thank you. And I just go back to you. I mean, thinking you're performing, you're clearly not holding back.
Well,
You're
I
not
never
holding back.
was.
You're in the moment. You're just, you I feel like, within, you think something and you say it within reason, and which is really a great, it's really great to have someone like that, with an audience who is themselves with an audience and
Well,
not trying to
I
be
think
somebody else.
that's when I come to life is when I'm performing,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's sort of like just being able to be in that moment and trying to find the right thing to convey the feeling that audience needs. Now, I'll tell you a little secret about one time when I asked Pete Seeger about how to I was a young kid, and I was asking about how to put together a set list. I was doing this show, and Pete said, "Well, Rick, start with something you know." He said, "Then look out into the audience." He said, "See who's out there.
yeah.
These old people and young people, white people, black people, city people, country people. Try to be a needle and go through all the buttonholes of all the people that you
Wow.
see.
Yeah.
and find a song for them. And if you do it right, at the end of the show, whoop, you pull the string and everybody sings along. So
Beautiful.
that idea,
What an amazing metaphor. What an
yeah,
amazing metaphor. And
it
what a
was.
deep, what a specifically and complicated. You know what I mean? It's like he didn't just like toss off a couple of words. That's a lot. That's a kind of a complicated, beautiful thing he created there.
And that's why I've been passing it on because I mean that's one of the things that I have on Utah Phillips hat that was given to me,
Uh-huh.
to remember all of these elders that we learn from, and
Yeah.
they're not here. Like
Yeah.
Larry,
Yeah.
it's not here. So it's our job, you
Mm-hmm.
know, as well as to sing our song, is to carry on other people,
Yeah.
not just to think about ourselves. And that was the big thing that Utah believed in, is that, we all, what made the 60s kind of songwriting thing so special was that everybody was singing each other's songs. You know, it wasn't that you were just singing your song, that you're
Yeah.
singing other people's songs. And so I think that that's a good thing because how else are people going to know a song, especially if the person's no longer here? Now I know that some people do know this song, but not enough,
No, it's
not
a great
enough.
one. It's a great one. It's beautiful.
And I felt like this would be a great way to pass it along so that other people pick it up and start singing. Because if you think about all those people who are out there struggling with different issues,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and especially parents who have a child that are struggling with different issues. And I think the idea about I can taste just as good as any other cookie can,
I
you
always,
know?
that's true. And I always think about when we have parents of children who are different and in different degrees. The more different they are, the more we're all parents to them.
Hmm.
The more needs the parents have, the more we all need to embrace this child, and that's I think that's been happening with government programs,
Hmm.
but it also happens in communities that other people become
Well,
their family because that's only right.
Well, because you've spent a lot of time in schools doing programs too,
Yeah.
and you can go into that school and you will know just in a few minutes you can see some of those kids that are just not like everyone else. And
Right.
those are the kids that I would always reach out to be
Absolutely.
part of the program,
Right. Right.
is let them shine. Let them shine in this moment because art has a way of tapping into a different part of who we are. And it can
Yeah.
bring out something beautiful and let other people see that.
One of the tricks that's absolutely right. And one of the tricks that I did with the kind of kid who was self-conscious and ended up being a little bit like a little bully like, a little like a negative leader, is I would just,
Hmm.
my attitude is, I love this kid, and he's
Hmm.
gonna really enjoy this dance, and I'm gonna make him a leader,
That's right.
that kind of thing.
Well,
And that just
if
it's sort of like, and it's a way, it's a way to trick them into enjoying themselves.
well, not only that, but that if you can get those kind of kids, especially
Right.
those tough kids,
Yeah.
involved in your program,
Yeah.
all the other kids are going to say, "Well, he's
Yeah.
doing it. I'm going to do it too."
And
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 so
it, that's right.
it
That's
really
right.
opens up that realm of possibilities of being one community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone is included, and that's what we try to do in our work is try to make sure that
Right.
everyone feels welcome.
And then
And-
the other kids who are differently abled, I think you can just kind of do whatever you can to kind of
yeah, yeah.
celebrate them in a way that doesn't that just helps them feel like, oh yes, I am an important part of this group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So I think we're gonna
why
probably
don't
we
you
have
tell me
time.
about your album? You have
Okay,
a
so
new
I have a
album. I
new
gotta hear. I
album.
want to hear about this new album you got
Yeah,
coming
it's
out.
called Hands of Time, and it's one of those things where I wanted to tap into something different. A lot of people know me from doing traditional folk music, for doing songs, Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and so forth. when I was a young kid, I was exposed to country music from my grandmother. My father's mother always listened to Hank Williams and Hank Snow and all of, and I'd go over there and she'd
Fantastic.
have her hi-fi on and
Wow.
dancing around the room. And I started going down to Nashville probably about 15 years ago and interviewing a lot of people for my TV show. And I started really understanding a lot about Nashville. And one of the old Nashville, I'm not talking about
Yeah.
what's going on today, but I started realizing that the old country music was just a part of the umbrella of the folk world. It was the same kind of thing. I mean, I would talk to these guys and gals, and they would say that we would be out all week performing, and we wouldn't make that much money, and we'd get back to the Grand Ole Opry, which didn't pay a lot either, and they would pass the hat around. Whose
Yeah.
bus broke down?
Hmm.
Who needs the extra money?
Hmm.
And they would take care of each other like that in this kind of community. And that's when I started seeing this other side of country music. And I started writing songs that were more, had what I call a country roots feeling.
Hmm.
And so that's what this particular album, Hands of Time, is about. And I recorded it when we were moving Utah Phillips' flanger car. They called it Utah's caboose. It was on the old Philo records site. And I was interviewing everybody, and Bill Schubart I was interviewing Bill and his half brother Michael Couture in the house that used to be the studio, and they looked at each other and they said, "Do you hear it?" And I was like, "What?" They go, "It's in the walls. The studio is still here."
Yeah. Right.
And that's when I said, "Oh," and that's where I recorded it.
That's
Phil Henry
fantastic.
and I moved. Stephen Pilcher, who owns the place, he moved the furniture around. We brought a recording studio and we recorded in what was the old Philo
That's great.
studios.
So the Hands of Time, not out yet, but look for it. It'll be out soon.
Yeah,
And I also want to tell people that tomorrow Aaron Geyer's coming on. Aaron Geyer's coming on with a musical partner, Michael. Their group is called Marbles and Twine. Everybody say Marbles and Twine.
marbles and
Marbles and
vines and
Twine.
vine.
What a great name. Erin Geyer and her musical partner. Don't and go into the archives, everybody. Go into the archives and check out Yesterday, because yesterday was Melvina Reynolds' Day, the great songwriter. I haven't seen it yet. I couldn't do it yesterday, so I'm definitely going to check that out. And tell all your friends about the Daily Antidote, of course. I think it's. I think it is time for us. Why don't you sing that song again, Rick?
Yeah, let's do it again. Let's have everybody sing it along. All right, and it starts. Remember in D7. Well, I'm a little cookie. Yes, I am. I was made by the cookie man. On the way to the cookie pan, a little piece broke off of me. Well, a little piece broke off of me. A little piece broke off of me. But I can taste just as good as any other old cookie can. Chocolate bar. Well, I'm a little chocolate bar. Yes, I am. I was made by the chocolate man. But when I got to the chocolate stand, I got a little bend in me. Well, I got a little bend in me. I got a little bend in me. But I can taste just as good as any other chocolate bar can. Tootsie Roll. Try it now. I'm a little Tootsie Roll. Yes, I am. I was made from the Tootsie Roll man. But when I got to the Tootsie Roll land, I got a little twist in me. Well, I got a little twist in me. I got a little twist in me. But I can taste just as good as any other Tootsie Roll can. Gumdrop. I'm a little gumdrop. Yes, I am. I was made by the gumdrop man. But when I got to the gumdrop stand, got a little dent in me. Well, I got a little dent in me. I got a little dent in me. But I could taste just as good as any other gumdrop can. Well, I'm a little cookie. Yes, I am. I was made by the cookie man. When I fell off the cookie pan, a little piece broke off of me. Well, I'm not as round as I could be, but I'll taste good, just you wait and see. And I can love back just as hard as any other cookie can. Well, I can love back just as hard as any other cookie can.
Yeah, it's our daily antidote cousin, Rick Palieri. Thank you. A big hand to Rick and his fantastic songs and all of the important work he does that transcends the songs, which is sort of part and parcel of it. So thanks, Rick, very much. We'll say goodbye to you now. And Joe, I think I'm just going to say goodbye. Huh? Let's just do that. Okay. Goodbye, Joe herself. Goodbye, Bryn. Thanks very much for your work. Arlene and Berkeley, goodbye. Susan in Cincinnati, goodbye. Deborah, goodbye. Sheila, goodbye. Catherine in Albuquerque, Sheila from Florida, sorry. Sue from Seattle, goodbye. Athena from Brooklyn, goodbye. Dory and Ollie from Rhode Island, goodbye. Nashville Ann in Ontario, Canada. Goodbye, James. Didn't see you in the beginning. Nice to see you. Goodbye, Trish. Victoria. Goodbye, Annette in California. Goodbye, Mabel and Bear in Massachusetts. Goodbye, Martha Wagner. Goodbye, Pauline in Newcastle, UK. Goodbye, Storm in Massachusetts. Hoda in British Columbia. Cricket from Maryland. Goodbye, Carolina from Washington, D.C. Delhi from Maryland. Goodbye, Bob and Bear in Massachusetts. So long, Fred from Silver Springs, Maryland. So long to Kathy from Colorado. Goodbye, Linda from Concord, Massachusetts. Marianne from, who's Rick's wife, from Vermont. Goodbye, Anne. Hey, Rick's wife. Hello there. I just realized what that meant. Rick Pelleri's wife. And I lost where I am here. I might back. Goodbye, Jamie from Victoria. Julie from Ontario. Anne from Silver Springs. Nancy from Denver. LMG from Connecticut. Elizabeth from California. Goodbye, Louise from UK. And Kat from Vermont. Goodbye to all of the YouTube people, and we'll see you again tomorrow with Erin Geyer and her partner Michael, the Marbles and Twine group. And I'm just going to say to all of you, goodbye, all of my daily antidote cousins. Always good to see you.